When we think about reality, we think about what already exists, right? We don't see ourselves as creators, which they're in general, there's a lot of the problem right there. Because when you see yourself as a creator, and when you see yourself as someone who brings about, right, who brings about and develops, then you know that you can bring anything into physical existence, right? Whatever's in your mind, you're bringing out into physical existence. It's going to be different vehicles that get you there, different experiences, different people that are around you as you're getting to your destination, but you're still en route to getting to your destination regardless. So whenever we have resistance in the mind, resistance to do something, we're not allowing that source to flow through us. We're allowing our emotion to take over the action that we actually have received to do. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, blessings, and mercy be unto you. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Khadijah Toto, and you are listening to Lit Chat Lounge podcast, where we are going over different books that are going to enhance your mind and enhance your spirit and enhance exactly who you are. So today we are going over chapter 3 of Ask and It Is Given. And let's do a recap of chapter 2 really quick. So in the last chapter, we spoke about basically how you need to establish an identity for yourself. You need to assume an identity for yourself and stand strong in it. We also talked about the value of preferences and perspective, and that how preferences were shaped by your experience, right? In choosing and options, whereas your perspective is learning to see from a specific point of view and being and standing strong in that. We also talked about where you turn your attention to and how as human beings we are never quite fully satisfied as who we are and the beings that we are. We were made to create and we were made to want more. And so the little lists that we make for ourselves and we accomplish them, we're going to go on to want more and more and more. So it's not necessarily about checking the box off, but gaining the tools, the skills, the strategies, and the techniques in order to check every list off that we ever make for ourselves in this beautiful human cycle of life that we're currently in this time, space, and reality. Also, quick note, I know we've been using the etymology dictionary. There's also a glossary in the back of this book, if you do have it, on page 307, and it has some of the definitions. So we'll go by these definitions that are in here, as well as using the etymology dictionary as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into this reading. And if you already have the book, you don't want to hear this part, I'm just going to be reading over it as a reminder. Remember, this chapter is only 4 pages long. Have a listen, chill, let's do our thing. All right, you ready? Let's do this. Chapter 3, you do create your own reality. Not so very long ago, our friends Jerry and Esther were introduced to this phrase: you are the creator of your own reality. They had discovered the Seth books by Jane Roberts. For them, it was both an exciting prospect and a troubling one. For like so many of our physical friends, they did desire creative control of their own experience. But they were plagued with some basic questions. Is it really all right for us to choose the reality we create? And if it is appropriate for us to do so, how do we go about doing it? The basis of your life is absolute freedom. You were born with an innate knowledge that you do create your own reality. And in fact, that knowledge is so basic within you that when someone attempts to thwart your own creation, you feel an immediate discord within yourself. You were born knowing that you are the creator of your own reality. And although that desire to do so pulsed within you in a powerful way, when you began to integrate into your society, you began to accept much of the same picture that others held of the way your life should unfold. But still within you today lives the knowledge that you are the creator of your own life experience, that absolute freedom exists as the basis of your true experience, and that ultimately the creation of your life experience is absolutely and only up to you. You have never enjoyed someone else telling you what to do, and you have never enjoyed being dissuaded from your own personal, powerful impulses. But over time, with enough pressure from those who surrounded you, who seemed convinced that their practiced way was more valid than your way and therefore ultimately better, you gradually began to release your determination to guide your own life. You often found it easier to just adapt to their ideas of what was best for you rather than trying to figure it out for yourself. But in all this, adapting to your society's attempts to make you fit in, and in your own attempt to find less trouble, you have unwittingly relinquished your most basic foundation, your total and absolute freedom to create. You have not given up this freedom easily, however, and in fact, you can never truly release it, for it exists as the most basic tenet of your very being. Still, in your attempt to release it, for the sake of getting along, or in your hopeless resignation that you have no other choice than to give up your powerful right to choose, you have gone crossways to your natural current and contrary to your very soul. No one else can create in your experience. This book is about realignment with source energy. It is about your reawakening to the clarity, goodness, and power that is really who you are. It is written to assist you in consciously returning to the knowledge that you are free and that you always have been free and that you always will be free to make your own choices. There is no satisfaction in allowing someone else to attempt to create your reality. In fact, it is not possible for anyone else to create your reality. Once you have realigned with eternal forces and universal laws and that which is truly the source of that which you are, then joyous creation beyond physical description awaits you. For you are the creator of your own experience, and there is such satisfaction in intentionally guiding your own life. You are eternal beings in physical form. You are eternal beings who have chosen to participate in this specific physical life experience for many wonderful reasons. And this time-space reality on planet Earth serves as a platform in which you are able to focus your perspective for the purpose of specific creation. You are eternal consciousness, currently in this wonderful physical body for the thrill and exhilaration of specific focus and creation. The physical being that you define as you stands on the leading edge of thought, while consciousness, which is really your source, pours through you. And in those moments of inexpressible elation, those are the times when you are wide open and truly allowing your source to express through you. Sometimes you are fully allowing the true nature of your being to flow through you, and sometimes you do not allow it to flow. This book is written to help you understand that you have the ability to always allow your true nature to pour through you. And that as you learn to consciously allow your full connection with the you that is your source, your experience will be one of absolute joy. By consciously choosing the direction of your thoughts, you can be in constant connection with source energy, with God, with joy, and with all that you consider to be good. Absolute well-being is the basis of your universe. Well-being is the basis of this universe. Well-being is the basis of all that is. It flows to you and through you. You have only to allow it, like the air you breathe. You have only to open, relax, and draw it into your being. This book is about consciously allowing your natural connection to the stream of well-being. It is about remembering who you really are so that you can get on with the creation of your life experience in the way you intended before you came forth into this physical body and into this magnificent leading edge experience where you fully intended to express your freedom in endless, joyous, co-creative ways. Can you understand how much well-being is flowing to you? Do you understand how much orchestration of circumstances and events on your behalf is available to you? Do you understand how adored you are? Do you understand how the creation of this planet, the creation of this universe fits together for the perfection of your experience? Do you understand how beloved you are, how blessed you are, how adored you are, and what an integral part of this creative process you are? We want you to begin to understand the blessed nature of your being, and we want you to begin to look for the evidence of it because we are showing it to you in every moment that you will allow yourselves to see it. In the lining up of lovers, money, fulfilling experiences, and beautiful things for you to see. In the lining up of circumstances and events, and in the lining up of amazing co creative experiences where you are rendezvousing with one another for no reason than for the fantastically important reason of fulfilling, satisfying, and pleasing yourself and giving yourself joy in the moment. Your motion forward is inevitable. It must be. You cannot help but move forward. But you are not here on a quest to move forward. You are here to experience outrageous joy. That is why you are here. All right, so the first part that I want to focus on is the beginning of this part, and it talks about creative control. So in this sentence, it says, they did desire creative control of their own experience, but they were plagued with some basic questions. So let's talk about what create means. As y'all know, we do use the etymology dictionary because we want to deal with the root word, right? And also there is the glossary in the back that we're also going to implement and use during this chapter as well. So create, according to this etymology dictionary, says to bring into being, to make, bring forth, produce, procreate, beget, cause, arise, be born, increase, grow. Okay, so to grow. So I like the bring into being, right? Because creation really is that, is bringing into, it's bringing that life for that thing into being. Whatever's in your mind, you bring it out in reality, right? And I also wanted to define reality. So the definition of reality is quality of being real, objective reality, real existence, what is real, the aggregate of all that is real, the state of something, real estate, real property. Let's see. Real estate didn't become a thing until the 1660s. I wonder what it was called before then. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at that. The quality of being real, objective reality. I don't like when these definitions have the word in it. So let's go to the definition of real. It says actually existing, having physical existence, not imaginary. Okay, so create is to bring about, and then reality is into the physical existence, right? The existence of what we're dealing with. Reality is what we're dealing with on the outside world. Right? It's not just theory. It's not just what we think. Okay? So the desire of creative control of their own experience. When you are controlling your own experience, you have the power to create whatever it is that you want. If you want a good experience, create a good experience. What does a good experience look like? You're literally mentally creating your heaven, and you're literally creating your mental hell. So which one do you want to exist in, right? That's the question of the day. That's the real question of the day, is where do you want to exist in, right? You can have the same circumstance happen to the same people who decide to go different routes of how they feel. You have one person that's sitting there crying and frustrated, and you have another person that's like, forget it. I'm going to continue to go on, right? There's a book called Where's My Cheese? And it's one of my favorite books that actually got me out of this terrible depression. But essentially, it's about how these mice are going through this maze, and basically a group of the mice, a couple of the mice have human personalities, feelings, etc., and the other one have the more animalistic qualities. Anyways, what you see throughout the book is that the ones with the human qualities typically hold themselves back because of how they feel and the emotional consequences, whereas the ones with the animalistic qualities, they didn't think about, oh, I deserve this, or oh, I deserve that. They didn't see the cheese there, and they moved on and, went to a different route to find the cheese, because their mission was to find the cheese, not about how they feel about not getting the cheese, but getting the cheese itself, right? Powerful book. Don't know the author at the top of my head. Then it says on here, is it really all right for us to choose the reality that we create, right? Is it really us? And how do we go about doing it? That's a beautiful question. That is a beautiful question, because when we think about reality, we think about what already exists, right? We don't see ourselves as creators, which there in general, there's a lot of the problem right there. Because when you see yourself as a creator, and when you see yourself as someone who brings about, right, who brings about and develops, then you know that you can bring anything into physical existence, right? Whatever's in your mind, you bring it out into physical existence, right? And you bring it out into the reality. However, if you don't know that you create the reality, then you only deal with what other people have already created versus being the creator, right? Acting as the creator, right? Of your own life and your own ability and what you have going on. The next part that I want to look at is, it says, when someone attempts to thwart your own creation, you feel immediate discord with yourself. Yeah, you feel immediate discord when someone tries to tell you that they're going to create within you're allowing them to take control of your reality. And really, and what this says later on is, it talks about absolute freedom exists on the basis of your true experience, and ultimately the creation of your life experience is absolutely up to only you. Only you get to decide what reality is for you, right? And what I mean by that, and I mean the reality of the life experience that you choose, right? So I'll give you an example. It's like deciding to become an entrepreneur versus going to work for a company, right? You're creating that reality. Could you become an entrepreneur? Absolutely. Could you make $1 million? Absolutely. Could I go get a job? Absolutely. Are you willing to put in the time, the ability, and effort, the same amount of effort, or if not more, and have multiple failures? That's the question. Do you want to go through that process, right? But that's where reality is created, is in the choices that we make, right? The next part says, seem convinced that their practiced way is more valid than your way. Sometimes what we do is, when we see other people create their realities, we're like, oh, we love their reality. Their reality is more supreme and more established than mine. So therefore, the reality that I'm trying to create for myself probably isn't as great, because I don't see the blah, blah, blah type of success, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Talk. Right? And so how do you be valid? How do you practice in these ways, right? In your freedom to create. Don't forget, you are the creator, okay? And we come from the source of creation, period. It also talks about realigning with source energy on page 12, and it talks about how we're constantly trying to do that. And the closer that we get to source energy, the closer that we are, and that we have clarity, goodness, and the power of who we truly are, right? I think that's what our life is really about. And we actually, because we aren't even aware of source, the energy, and really because we don't know who we are, we don't know who and what the source is as well. And so when we get into the business of knowing who we are, we're able to make wiser and better decisions. It says, there is no satisfaction in allowing someone else to attempt to create your reality. It is not possible for anyone else to create your reality. Nobody else has your mind. You have your own mind. What you decide to do with your mind is up to you. So therefore, nobody can create your reality. Only you can create your experience, your reality, what it is that you have. Sure, on the outside, the circumstances may look the same, the systems may look the same, but that's why you see some people make it out of certain areas or certain life circumstances that other people don't, because they gain the tools and the skills and the strategies mentally in order to take themselves into a different place. On page 13, it talks about focusing your perspective for the purpose of a specific creation. We're all here to focus for a specific creation. What is it that we're here to bring about? We all wanted to bring about something onto this planet. So what is the assignment that you have on your life of the creation that you're bringing about here and leaving the legacy for those who are coming after you? What is it that you've come here to do? Have you come here to raise a great child in order to, and maybe that child becomes something great and you head off that way, what are you assigned to do? People think, oh, I'm just a teacher, or oh, I'm just an engineer, or oh, I just do this. However, whatever the advancement is part of the bigger picture, right? We're all in the bigger picture. It's just what role and what part do we want to play in that, and how do we enjoy what we do, right? That's a huge part. It says the physical being that you define as you stands on the leading edge of thought. I want to go to the glossary on this. And it says the leading edge of thought on page 309. It says a state of relaxed and deliberate consideration of ideas with the intention of new discovery. Okay, let's read that again. The leading edge of thought, a state of relaxed and deliberate consideration of ideas. Okay, so you're chilling, you're coming up with ideas, right? They're very deliberate. You have a lot of intention of new discovery. So it's essentially the place of creation. The leading edge of thought is where you're being deliberate in your ideas, right? You're being deliberate so you can create more ideas, more thoughts, more discoveries about that. Have you ever sat? It's kind of like making a have y'all ever made a, what do they call it? I call it a spider map, right? And you have the circle in the middle with the main subject at hand, and then you're veering off into different subjects, right? So let's say in the middle you put places I want to live, right? You put a circle around that, and then you write maybe California, maybe you write Florida, maybe you write Virginia, maybe you write Washington, D.C., maybe you write Texas, maybe you write South Africa, maybe you write Congo, maybe you write Ghana, maybe you write Nigeria, right? Of the different places, and you're making this map. And then okay, so now we focus in on, let's say, Washington, D.C. Okay, I picked Washington, D.C. Now I'm going to create another little map from there, right? So the leading edge is the intention of new discovery. Okay, now I'm starting to get on the internet and I'm going to look up, okay, what are some things in D.C. that I would like to do, right? Where are areas that I would like to live in? Then you go to California, you do the same thing. What are places that you would want to eat and that you would like to live in? And you do the same for all of the different places that you put on your list that you wanted to look at, right? That is the law of deliberate creation. That's an example of it. And so instead of, let's even saying the places that you want to live, it's always a different subject matter that's in the middle of that bubble that you continue to create ideas upon, so you can make your own discoveries of the things that you are looking for. The next part says, while consciousness is really your source pours through you. So consciousness, if we look at here, it says consciousness is awareness. Okay, consciousness is awareness. So let's actually go and look up the definition of awareness, right? We're going to go by what she means by that. It's the state of being aware. Wow, that was great. Watchful, vigilant, okay? Condition of being aware of oneself, a state of being sensitive. I love that. Delicacy of feeling. I like that too. Sensitivity. Okay, I like that. It's the sensitivity, I would say, the sensitivity of being watchful. So almost an observation in a way, but the sensitive nature of the observation, being very detailed in what that observation looks like. So it goes back to what I was saying about the spider web, right, that we were making. So let's take Washington, D.C., for example. So we're going to go with that. We're on the leading edge. We're looking at we're being aware. And your source that pours through you, right? So source is defined as the eternally expanding vibrational stream of well-being from which all that is that flows. Okay, let's look up well-being, the universal natural state of feeling good. So essentially it's saying that it's a vibrational stream of well-being which flows. Okay, so essentially that's it. It's a stream of well-being. That's it. Period. I don't need to emphasize any further what she's talking about. And then it says, those are times when you are wide open and truly allowing your source to express through you. Sometimes you're fully allowing the true nature of your being to flow through you, and sometimes you do not allow it to flow. So whenever we have resistance in the mind, resistance to do something, we're not allowing that source to flow through us. We're allowing our emotion to take over the action that we actually have received to do. An example of this is, where you gather certain information. Oh, I really want to write a book, right? Oh, I want to write a book. And what happens is the source wants to flow through you through that book to get this information to other people. But oftentimes we stop ourselves. Oh, writing a book costs too much money. Oh, I don't know how to do it. Oh, I don't want to sit down. Oh, I don't want to, I don't want to focus. Oh, I don't have the tools. We come up with a bunch of excuses instead of actually finding a way to take action to pursue that. Sometimes I think that the thought and the idea just isn't strong enough. The desire, as we spoke about in, I believe desire, we spoke about that in chapter 1. So the desire isn't necessarily strong enough for you to pull on, right? But if you keep having that same idea over and over and over again, that is source flowing through you, telling you and pulling you towards that to make it happen. The last, on page 13, it says, by consciously choosing the direction of your thoughts, you can be in constant connection with source energy, with God, with joy, and all that you consider to be good. So you're constantly choosing what you're thinking. You're constantly choosing your thoughts. You're constantly accepting or rejecting certain thoughts. You ever had just gone down a rabbit hole of negative thinking, negative thoughts, etc.? And typically it's because of, it could be the environment that you're in. A lot of the times people will try to pull you into wherever their negative thinking is. And so you have to be careful of the ideas and the thoughts that get accepted and rejected. Because the last thing you want to do as a creator of your own reality is take on their perception of their reality. That's why in the last chapter, it was so important for you to assume your own identity and to stand strong in your own perspective, because everyone's standing in their perspective. And if they choose to be in a mental hell, in a state of mind, then that's where they're going to be, and they're going to try to pull you into where they are. You know what I mean? And so you have to align yourself. You have to align yourself with a likeness, right? You have to align yourself, because you're going to have people trying to pull you into their ways of thinking or their ways of doing things or their systems and all that stuff. And while that may be great for them and it works for them and the identity that they chose to assume, it may not work for the identity that you've chose to consume on this planet Earth. Does that make sense? Do you understand how much orchestration of circumstance events on your behalf is available to you? Essentially, as you're creating and co-creating with other creators, right? As you're creating, there are events, circumstances, and things that are happening in order for you to get what you want, right? Whether they be good, whether they be bad. That's why in the first chapter it talked about being grateful for where you stand. Oh, I'm so grateful that I stand right here in this space and time right now. And I believe even in the second chapter, it talked about that. Remember when we talked about, she was like, you are one of the rare people, right? Chapter 2 said it. Yes, I'm enjoying the evolution of my desire. It feels wonderful as I stand in this place where many things I desire have not yet come to me, right? So as you're standing in this place, just understand that you're getting to your destination. Right? Sometimes the road is going to be a little rocky, but that's okay, because you're still getting to the destination. It's like going horseback versus getting in a Tesla versus getting in a bullet train, right? It's going to be different vehicles that get you there, different experiences, different people that are around you as you're getting to your destination, but you're still en route to getting to your destination regardless. And the last part talks about how rendezvous with one another for no reason other than fantastically important reason of fulfilling, satisfying, and pleasing yourself and giving yourself the joy of the moment. So it's really about you enjoying your life. Like, that's just what we're going to keep saying and doing. And y'all, that's chapter 3. That is chapter 3. I love it. Chapter 3 is quite dope. So it's talking about you being a creator. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you think. And I am looking forward to hearing more from y'all. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, blessings, and mercy be unto you. My name is Khadijah Toto, and thank you so much for joining me in this Lit Chat Lounge. Peace.